Hello everyone. Good morning and welcome to today's The Hindu News Analysis. Myself Nidin K. Biju. I have cleared the Civil Service Mains and IFOS Mains this year. I have attended the IFOS interview and I am awaiting to attend the Civil Service interview this year. So coming to the content of today's Hindu newspaper, there are many important articles especially from the perspective of the prelims. So this is an overview of the topics which you are about to discuss today. There are many prelims concepts which we will be discussing, so try to see the video till the end so that you don't miss any important prelims topic. Now, please pause for a second and try to attempt this question by yourself. After you try to attempt it, we'll be discussing the topic, the relevant topic, and we'll be coming back to the same question again. Coming to the first topic, government not mandatory for FDI from neighboring countries. So here, the crux of the article is this. As we all know, due to the COVID-19 pandemic, the economy is weak now. The company and its share prices are falling. So China is seeing this as an opportunity and trying to buy up all the shares of the Indian companies, most of the shares of the Indian companies. The government have noticed this phenomenon and the government has done some FDI restrictions in order to ensure that countries like China don't use this opportunity in order to buy the ownership of the companies in India. So, what did the government do? In a move that will restrict the Chinese investment, the government said that there should be government approval, prior government approval mandatory for FDI from countries which share a land border with India. So, we are not directly targeting China. We have just said that the countries with a land border of India, if they want to purchase FDI, there should be prior government approval. So here indirectly India is targeting China itself. So now highlighted in green. Why is it done? The revised FDI policy is aimed at curbing opportunistic takeovers or acquisitions of Indian companies, as I have already mentioned you. Now, coming to a prelims fact, with how many countries does India share land border with? India shares land border with Pakistan, Afghanistan. Afghanistan and India have a land border, though the area is in POK now. Then China, Nepal, Bhutan, Bangladesh, and Myanmar. So these are the land borders of India. Now, recently, last week, the housing finance company HDFC, it informed that the People's Bank of China now holds a 1.01% stake in the company. So similar to this, many other companies' shares were acquired by the Chinese banks, government, and all. So this is the reason why India came with this mandatory FDI requirement from neighboring countries. Now here there are some concepts which are very important for prelims. One is the FDI, then is the FPI, then here they have mentioned about unicorn companies here. So we'll be discussing about these prelims concepts. Now coming to FDI. As we all know, FDI is a long-term investment and it involves the investment in physical assets. It aims to increase the enterprise capacity or productivity or change management control. Management control implies the ownership control, right? Now FDI also leads to technology transfer, access to market and management inputs. In short, FDI is something long term involves more money, involves more purchases of the shares and even the management control of the company. Now coming to FPI is more short term investment, and the investment is mostly limited to financial assets, that is mostly shares, stocks, and all those things. Now it aims to increase capital availability, the availability of money in the market. That's it. It doesn't involve any ownership change or something. And FPI involves only in capital inflows. So this is the main difference between FDI and FPI. Now let us go back to the practice question which we have seen. So coming to the practice question, consider the following about FDI and FPI. FPI is a long-term investment, whereas FDI is a short-term investment. Second statement, FPI mainly involves the purchase of financial assets without any change in ownership. So first statement, FPI is a long-term investment. It is a wrong statement. It is the other way around, right? So statement one is incorrect. Now coming to statement two, FPI mainly involves the purchase of financial assets without any change in ownership. Yeah, we have already told that financial assets such as stocks are being bought, right? And it doesn't involve any change in ownership. So statement two is correct. Statement one is incorrect. So the question is asking about the correct statements. So option B is the answer. Option B becomes the answer, right? Now coming to another concept called unicorn companies. So here we just have to remember the definition. What is a unicorn company? It is a term used in venture capital industry. Venture capital means it's like starting new companies, like the investment related to that, right? So it is a startup. Unicorn companies are a startup companies with a value over $1 billion, right? So any company which has a high value are called as unicorn companies, the value over $1 billion. So here we can see some companies in this graph. We can see some companies which are unicorn companies like Snapdeal, Ola, Swiggy, Paytm, Flipkart, etc, etc. So these are the unicorn companies. Now coming to the second topic, will convalescent plasma help in COVID-19 patients? So this is a big article, but we just have to remember one important concept, that is convalescent plasma. What is convalescent plasma? We just have to know what it is, the definition, that's it, and the concept. So here, what is convalescent plasma? How does it work? Now, we all know that when the patient who was suffering from the coronavirus recovers, his body will have already produced antibodies to fight against the coronavirus, right? So what the doctors are doing is like the plasma from the blood of the recovered patients will be taken, and the antibodies will be taken from that, and it will be given to the patient who are severely suffering due to coronavirus. So this is the concept involved in convalescent plasma. People who are recovered from the COVID-19 have antibodies present in their body, right? Now, the blood will be taken, and the plasma component will be extracted and given to another patient, so that the another patient also develops antibodies in their body to effectively fight the virus. So this is the concept of convalescent plasma. So there's nothing more in this. We just have to read what is relevant for the UPSC. We don't have to read the entire article at all. Now coming to the third report, ICMR reports a huge spike in infections in a single day. Here also we don't have to read the daily number of increase, like how many patients increase. Those things we don't have to read for UPSC preparation. But there are some important statistics which is being given here. Some data. This data you can use it for mains preparation, mains answer writing. So the first data marked in green says that the health ministry added that the mortality rate in the country is currently around 3.3%. So the COVID-19 mortality, the people who die due to COVID-19 are 3.3% of the total number of people who are affected. And if you go through an age-wise analysis of these people, so here they have given some age brackets and the death mortality rate. So here you can just remember this, about 75% of the mortality rate are of people who are above 60 years of age, and 83% of the mortalities had some pre-existing medical issues, that is called as comorbidities. So these two datas, three datas, one is about mortality 3.3%, the other is the age wise report, and the third one is regarding the comorbidities. So these three datas you can just note it somewhere so that you can effectively use it in the mains answer writing. Coming to the next topic, Delhi to use rapid kits from today. So here also some important prelims topics come into picture. Now, the news is that Delhi is going to use rapid test kits. What is a rapid test kit? A rapid antibody test uses blood samples of a person and gives results in less than 30 minutes. Since this gives result very fast within 30 minutes, this is called as rapid test. Also, it is an antibody test, right? So what is an antibody and what is an antigen? This is an important prelims concept. Antigen is something, the virus is the antigen. A foreign body which enters our body is called as antigen. What is antibody? Antibodies are uh, substances which are generated in our body to fight the antigen, that is the virus. Okay, so here in rapid antibody test, what is being tested? It will be the antibodies which is generated by the body. Now coming to the what before rapid test, what kind of tests were done? Coming to this yellow highlighted part, testing for COVID-19 in city hospitals, it was done using the RT-PCR. It refers to real-time reverse transcription polymerase chain reaction test. It used to use a nasal or throat swab as the sample. What is the rapid test doing? The rapid test is using the blood as the sample. This is using the throat or nasal swab as the sample. So just remember this. Now now coming, the rapid antibody test is faster, but it cannot replace the PCR test. Why? Because the PCR test is more accurate, because of the reason that the PCR test is directly testing for the antigen in the body, not for the antibody. That is, the PCR test will directly test whether the virus is there in the body, whereas the rapid test will test if the antibodies are generated in the body. Okay, but for some people, the antibodies generated might be very less because of low immunity and all. So the antibodies might not be detected. So we can say that this rapid test acts as a supplement for the already existing PCR test. Now I have just summarized it here. PCR antigen test. It is the antigen test that detects the signs of the virus genetic material in the body, as I already told you. And the serology, the antibody test is also called as serologic test. This detects the antibodies that the body produce the to fight the virus. It exists in blood and tissues throughout the body. Right? We saw that rapid antibody test is going to take the samples from the blood because the antibodies will be present in the blood, right? So this is all about this topic. Now coming to the next topic, onus on states to expand PDS net. So this seems to be a irrelevant topic, but there is an important prelims concept here, that is the one nation one ration card project. So the crux of the issue is that, as we all know, migrant laborers, they are stuck in the in the states, and they are not able to go back to their uh, native states. Because of that, they are fighting hunger, starvation, and economic issues. Right. So one nation one ration card. It is a project. It was a plan of the union government. It is a scheme where the beneficiaries will get the entitlement of subsidized food grains even if they are not in their home state or union territory. Usually what used to happen, we will be allotted ration cards in our home state, right? And we can use it only there. But one nation one card tries to integrate the ration card throughout the country. So even if a person, a migrant from UP, is staying in somewhere in Maharashtra, then the person will be able to use the ration card which was issued in UP. It can be used in Maharashtra also. So this is the concept of one nation one ration card project. Okay, the government was planning to launch it on June 1. So as of now, it is not existing. It is a planned project. Now coming to another important article, the COVID-19 virus and its polyproteins. So here also the article is a bit big, as well as it is technical, but we don't have to go into much detail into it, but we have to know some basics. So here the author very clearly explains what is the difference between a virus and a bacteria. As we all know, we have antibiotic drugs, right? Also we know that antibiotic drugs are can be used only for bacterial diseases. It cannot be used for viral diseases, but people use that. This is something which has to be avoided totally, right? So what is the difference between a virus and a bacteria? Bacteria are alive. They have the capacity to reproduce by itself. That is very important. That term in itself is very important, because the bacterial cells, they have DNA molecules which enables it to reproduce by itself. Okay, through DNA the information is transcribed as a message to molecules to RNA. So what is transcription? We'll be seeing it in the coming slide. But understand this much, since bacteria has DNA in it, it can reproduce by itself. And what about virus? Virus doesn't have DNA into it in it. It has only RNA in it. Okay, so they can only translate and not transcribe. So what is this translation and what is this transcription? We'll be discussing in the next slide. So just understand that DNA is there in bacteria, RNA is there in virus. So virus cannot reproduce by itself due to the absence of DNA. So how they achieve the reproduction? We know the coronavirus is now reproducing at a faster rate. So how they achieve this? They achieve this by infecting the host cells which they bind to, and then they multiply by the millions. With no host cell to help, a virus is simply a dead storage box. So the coronavirus is dead without a host, that is a human body or any other living being. So that is the main difference between virus and bacteria. So this is one important topic. Now coming, we have discussed about another two important terms, transcription and translation. We'll discuss very briefly what it is. So this is the diagram which is here. The first, the above this one, the double stranded thing is the DNA, and the second diagram, this one, the second diagram, I'm sorry, the second diagram is the RNA, and the third one is the protein, as you have seen here. So what is transcription? Transcription is the conversion of DNA, which is double stranded, to RNA, that is single stranded. As you can see in the diagram, DNA is double stranded and RNA is single stranded. So the conversion of DNA to RNA is called as transcription. Now what is translation? The RNA, when it converts to a protein, it is called as translation. So this is the only thing which you have to study. Also there is a third concept which is written above here, arrow mark. It is called replication. If a DNA converts itself into another DNA to DNA is called replication. DNA to RNA is transcription. RNA to protein is translation. So try to by heart this. This can be asked as a statement in the prelims. Very important for prelims. Now coming to the last topic of the day. South Asia remains an outlier in infections. Outlier means detached, like it's a bit different from others. So different from others in the sense, South Asia, they are comparing it with other countries like European countries, United States, in terms of COVID infections. So here also you see this highlighted green color highlighted part. According to the latest figures, the 8 SAARC nations, the South Asian nations, they account only for 1.1% of the world COVID cases. So when you compare the world's cases, only 1.1% are in South Asia, right? That is very less compared to European and USA. And in terms of fatalities, the people who have died, only 0.49%. That is a very less percentage compared to the global cases, fatalities. So you can just remember this data and you can use it in your mains answer writing. So so what the scientists are trying to do is, they're trying to find why this is so. Only 1.1% of the cases and 0.949% of the fatalities. Why is it so? So there is some people are telling many reasons for that. Some people say that it is due to the low testing rates. Another set of people say that the effects of immunity. South Asian people have more immunity compared to Western or Western people. Or the third category of people says that it is due to the success of the lockdown and the social distancing measures adopted in India and other South Asian countries. So more study has to be conducted into, like, what is the actual reason why South Asian people have less cases. Is it due to the low testing? Is it due to do they have some special immunity in them, or is it due to the strict lockdown measures? So that's it for today's Hindu news analysis. If you like the video, please like, subscribe the channel and press the bell icon so that you will get instant updates about any videos. Okay, thank you, have a nice day. Thank you.